Day one was 59. We are currently sitting at 45.
People were just dropping left and right. Originally, people had quit because they just weren't physically ready. Later on, we had a few people that quit that shocked us all. They had to do some deep soul searching and find out that this might not be for them, and I respect them for doing that.
I pretty much had a breakdown last night, which caused me to not sleep, which is why I missed roll call today, and the realization of all this is what showed me that I am not prepared for this academy.
I think that makes me happy.
When you have a life-altering incident, you don't have a redo, a mulligan. You don't get to say, time out. You only have one life to live, and you only have one opportunity to win that fight, and you have to win it. This is the Virginia Beach Police Department. You're going to be tested physically. You're going to be tested emotionally. You're going to be tested psychologically. And we absolutely are going to test your integrity. Nothing will be given to you. Period.
I'm going to the start line.
I'm not one to say that I enjoy working out or enjoy physical fitness, but after that first week, that's when I realized how important it was for this kind of job.
My abs are like steel at this point.
Bill Bender is our PT coordinator for the Academy, and he does an awesome job coordinating the entire physical training program.
Go get a plate, the rest of you, on your face, plank it out.
The PT style is more of a CrossFit base. It's a constantly very functional movement performed at a high intensity to just keep that body confused and keep them guessing. And mentally, it correlates very well to police work because these recruits don't know what they're coming in to day in and day out.
Even PT is fun most of the time because Bender comes up with some of the most creative crap I've ever seen in my life.
It's just very random.
Get a couple recruits, get that log, and take it out there.
You know, for an example, the one that they just did, I mean, they just ran around with the sled and did all that running and pulling.
I'm not a runner. I don't run. I don't like running. I hate running. That's mainly where like our class rift is.
And you don't leave any of your teammates behind.
This academy is so far from being a team, it is ridiculous. I think it's just, I don't think we ever will.
Are there your cliques and people that just don't get along? Yes. The bigger the class, the longer that takes.
Harrington, he's insane when it comes to fitness.
I'm Recruit Harrington from Olean, New York. On a normal day, I'll either work out before work or work out during lunch. In P.O. Bender's CrossFit, that's a totally different beast I've never really done, but I've done all right with it. A lot of people would just come leaps and bounds from like where they were, but a lot of people also just dropped because they weren't ready.
Physically coming in underprepared, it not only, you know, makes me feel bad, but it also makes our class look bad. So I'd go home and do extra push-ups, extra sit-ups, extra running, so that I can be where I need to be.
I had to work on not giving up during the exercises. That was literally like one of my downfalls.
You gotta keep that mindset, focused.
P.O. Bender has this innate ability to assist people in taking off that veil of what they're physically capable of.
Good work, way to push.
Even if you as a person could care less about working out in some way, shape, or form or being physically fit, the job in and of itself doesn't allow you to be that person that's not. It can, but it's a danger to you, yourself, and it's a danger to your brothers and sisters that are out here working the street. I've been in a situation where I've been in a dog fight on the other side of an 8-foot fence and the backup couldn't climb over the fence because they're physically unfit. The job includes, you know, running and jumping and fighting and going over 6-foot fences, through ditches and through windows, which is why we do the obstacle course. This right here is a real life application of what you do, which is why we weed people out that can't do it.
As a police officer, everything you do has a huge capacity for result.
The Constitution has very specific meaning as it relates to police work. Before you are allowed to become a police officer, you will have to make a promise to your community.
We have a full law week where we have an attorney come in who teaches police departments all over the nation constitutional law.
My name is Randy Means, and I'm going to make sure that you know federal constitutional law well enough to do this right.
Randy Means, very interesting instructor. One of the better ones I think I've ever had.
There's a lot of law in law enforcement, who would have thought?
My name is Recruit David Suda. I'm 32 years old. I'm originally from Oak Lawn, Illinois. Constitutional law, in my opinion, is extremely important. It sets the foundation for everything else you're going to do.
They have to have constitutional law before we can move forward.
That was 5 days of constitutional law. Like, that gets boring.
But this principle has a name, and if you break that name down into its syllables and its Latin...
That was the worst class I've taken at Academy. Like, it was terrible.
That was a rough one for me. When we took the test for it, man, I bombed it. It irritated me because I felt like, okay, you know what? I just let my squad leader down. So as each test came about, hit it even harder, you know, and just slowly started bringing my score and average up. I actually did a study group with one of the recruits, Suda, actually.
I have had probably at least a dozen plus recruits ask me to join my study session. Those who are at a danger of getting fired for academics.
You have to have an 85, and from that point on, you have to keep an 85 average.
Those are the ones that I permit to come to my study sessions because I don't want them to get fired.
I ended up buying Randy Means' book, his hard copy book, just go through and read, and there's always something new that I've already learned that I'm like, I already forgot. It's just so much to know.
The modern vernacular.
And he's very, very dynamic teacher where he gets the recruits involved. They're not just sitting in a seat with death by PowerPoint taking notes. He gets them out of the seat, has them do little scenarios in the class so that he can see that they're applying the law properly and understanding it properly as he's teaching.
Let's give these guys a little...
They want you to do your job right, obviously, for one, and when you violate somebody's constitutional rights, they don't tolerate it, and they shouldn't, of course.
We're trying to teach you to respect things.
You can't reasonably go up to somebody, maybe challenge them per se, you know, without knowing what your right and their rights are.
We really need to be on top of, okay, are we in the right or are we in the wrong? You know, there's a line and you can't cross it.
People are far more educated nowadays when it comes to policing, and call it what it is, it's definitely on the front burner and not the back. They need to have that grasp of that constitutional law, and they need to have that understanding, so when they get put in those situations, they need to know their legal authority.
How was your first day of constitutional law?
Good,
sir. Y'all know the date, y'all know the time, right?
Yes, sir.
You guys are dismissed.
Thank you, sir.
Morning, grab a seat.
Morning, sir.
Every time we even come in a physical altercation with another person, there's at least one gun at play. Every single time. And that's ours.
Everything we're going to do down here is geared towards safety, protecting your lives and the lives of others in the city of Virginia Beach. Once we get out of this classroom, we have a lot of fun.
Firearms was interesting. They meant business, which was perfect. I mean, you need to.
Some people have experience with guns, some people don't. If you have a background with guns, that's all fine and good, but we want you to be our brand. So we teach you the way that we want you to handle your duty gun.
It doesn't matter if you ever shot before. That has no bearing on how you're going to shoot now, because if you listen to the way we train you, everybody's going to be a good shot.
They go through about a week of classroom for that, and then actually putting into practice with just standing on the firing line.
There's departments locally that don't get to shoot a fraction of the rounds that we do.
When you talk about the firearm staff, all those guys there have a lot of experience.
Lead with your head and that gun a little bit.
They learn from what type of weapon that we have, how to break it down, how to clean it, how to care for it properly, and a lot of shooting.
Watch your muzzle, watch your trigger finger, always. Standing,
kneeling, prone, all sorts of positions. They work on the draws of getting you out of the holster fast and on target quick.
The weapon I have is more for a left-handed shooter. And at first I couldn't understand why they couldn't switch like my mag release to the right for me, so it was easier. But I mean, you realize, well, what if something happens to your gun and you have to pick up another officer's gun? You know, so there's all these things that could potentially go wrong, where you need to be able to know that you can work every single one of those weapons without thinking.
Obviously, we get folks with prior law enforcement, prior military. Sometimes they struggle more than those who have never shot at all because they've developed bad habits.
There is a little bit of a mind shift that I had to do coming here. Everything we train in the Marine Corps is to kill. Here, it's arresting them. So you have to retrain yourself. Hey, I'm not here to kill. I'm here to protect or just, administer the law.
The only profession where you can take people's constitutional rights away. Do you realize that?
The instruction was unbelievable out there. MPO Sojan and his staff that he's working with out there, they can pinpoint stuff right away. They knew exactly what I was doing wrong. They said, correct it. And by the end of the week, I was shooting in the 90s. It's nice to see that they put that much effort into our training,
We might get kind of lost in just trying to get through the academy, but it's very important that you learn. And if you don't learn this, you could be killed.